Oh, hi there. It's so good to be back. Did you miss us? Are you ready for Season 5? Holy crap! Season 5! You know what this is? This is the 50th campaign we have ever run. But before I get to that, let me tell you what we've been up to while we were on vacation. You see, we set up a little thing, a little something, a little Patreon. Check it out, patreon.com/terriblewarriors, or just go to terriblewarriors.com and click the Patreon button at the top of the screen. We have made it as easy as possible for you to send us money. We've created a list of rewards that, well, we think you might find interesting to interact more with the show and see a little bit about how we put together so many games. Hey, we'll even let you bribe us and join a game. Yes, you too can be a Terrible Warrior today by checking out patreon.com/terriblewarriors. Thank you so much to those who have already chosen to support us. Your support means the world to us, and with your help, we're going to be able to do things on this program that we've only ever been able to imagine up until now. But enough about the sales pitch. I hear you're here for a campaign. We return to the world that Steve Saylor created in the world of the Matrix. We've already been through the deletion, we've been through the awakening, and now, the Matrix extraction. The crew of the Athens have gathered together, for one of their own has met an untimely demise. Where will this campaign lead them? Well, this is a Steve Saylor game, folks, which means I can guarantee you won't be able to predict the ending to this story. So come with me as we follow Julian, Orie, Cassie, and Steve back through the looking glass and back to the Matrix. And welcome back to the Terrible Warriors.
Hello, everyone, and welcome out to Terrible Warriors. You haven't heard me for a while. I'm Steve. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm back. And today, we're jumping back into the Matrix. It's my favorite series of all time, and I love being able to do it. And I wouldn't be able to do it alone without the fantastic crew of the Athens. Say hello, everybody.
Hey.
How's
Hello.
it going?
Hi. Why don't we introduce yourselves? So why don't you go first?
It's Julian Spillane playing Radix, reprising my role from oh so long ago.
Yeah. And?
Orie Falconer, not replacing anybody today. I'm supposed to be here.
Technically, your character really doesn't exist yet.
Right? What a crazy adventure. We totally just like the ending of Sonic 06 was basically what happened with our game. But I'm returning as Skyper.
Yeah. Or
do.
Or is what you originally had? I think it was like Plan Man. Was your other
I said
nickname?
Skyper, and you got really mad at me. And then
I didn't get mad at you.
So I was like using Plan Man for like one episode, and then we reverted back to Skyper because no one cared by that point. So we're back to Skyper again. And my name's Xander Simmons or whatever.
Simons, yeah.
Simons. Why did you go with the worst way to pronounce that name?
Xander Simons?
No, Simons.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm here. That's important.
Hey, Simon says.
Yeah. Hey, well, okay. Cool, thanks. Thank you for that. It's good.
Okay, thanks. Bye. And then, how about you? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. It's me, Cassie, Chui. How's it going? Sorry, I'm recovering from a cold, so I'm going to be a little bit sniffly, maybe.
And a little bit loopy?
I haven't been taking any medication, like any cold medication for that, so probably not loopy.
Okay.
But I will be attempting not to hack up a lung.
Well, you're going to hack some computers.
Ooh, yes.
Hack less lungs, hack more computers.
If you need any more medicine today, I've got a red pill and I got a blue pill you can try. But you can only pick one.
I'll take both. Anywho, so we're diving back into the Matrix, and as kind of a reprise of what happened, we have the crew of the Athens here. Not the entire crew, but we do have some of the crew here. Essentially, the very first time we met them, they had some trouble with some hard lines. they couldn't be able to. They were in the Matrix, and they found that they couldn't be able to get back home because there was a virus planted into the hardlines that would destroy any residual brain activity that would get back when you're jacking out of the Matrix, basically making you brain dead. So you wouldn't be able to jack back out. But you were able to find the ultimate solution, which was a silver bullet program that Radix designed, which I still can't believe that happened. But he went
so many D6s in a row, so many 6 rolls.
He basically tapped into the one for a bit there, and he was able to use that against agents. He was able to use that against the virus itself and destroy it. And it was sort of all set up as a scheme by Metacortex themselves. And then your guys were able to, jack back out, and it's all good. And then the second campaign we don't really need to talk about because technically it doesn't really exist. You guys were just in Alistair's apartment.
Yeah,
and a clock broke.
No one needs to hear about my cool roll of like a million D6s and becoming the
well,
one. Well,
you guys
That's
have like
fine.
some sort of residual images, as if it was kind of a dream, where there was a moment where Skyper shot a bazooka in a club towards the Merovingian, and somehow everything kind of stood still for a second, and then everything reset. So, Skyper broke the Matrix and had to be rebooted from a backup.
Yep.
Yeah, you did.
So, fun stuff. And so now we kind of jump back in, and let's continue on. So I have a bit of like preamble text, so let's open your imaginations, kiddies.
And your hearts.
And your hearts, yes.
It just occurs to me that I didn't actually say the name of the character I'm playing.
Oh.
Whoops.
What character are you playing?
I'm going to be playing Sparrow.
Yeah.
Sneaky snacky.
You're sneaky.
Hero.
Sneaky snacks. Put them in your backpack.
Did you say Scooby Snacks or Sneaky Snacks? Oh, okay.
Take them out when you need a snack. I had a better rhyme, but I forgot.
All right. Well, maybe you can remember it later. Maybe you
We're
can
in the
remember.
Matrix.
All right.
Fuck you. Just cut that hole.
There's no cutting, Orie. You're just gonna have to. You just
Why
have
are
to
we
live.
live?
You're just gonna have to live with your rhyme failure.
He's making reference to a JonTron video.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. All right. So let's dive into it. Welcome to the real world. The story of the One being discovered by Morpheus has sent a spark of hope throughout the Resistance. Most still don't believe Neo is the prophesied one, but others are beginning to believe. The crew of the Hovership Athens has been through hell and back within the past 6 months. Their silver bullet program has caused mayhem on all sides. The machines want to destroy it, the exiles want to manipulate it, and the Resistance wants to use it. The crew, with the help of the propaganda program Alistair Astaire, has been smuggled in and out of supposed safe havens within the megacity for weeks, until finally Captain Aries was able to find a secure hardline where the crew can jack out and get some much-needed rest. Hidden just below the surface of the real world, in a long-abandoned subway tunnel in what was originally called New York City, the crew opens their real eyes for the first time in a long time. When you wake up, you find your eyes take a little bit longer to adjust than normal. Everything is blurry, and the smallest bit of light is extremely bright. You hear the familiar voice of Captain Aries. Take it easy. Don't rush it. You've been out for quite some time. Everybody, why don't you roll a perception check for me?
Perception, eh?
Yes.
Oh.
How do I... Wait. Oh. There it is.
I need to borrow.
Okay.
Well, you re-roll on a 6, right? Not on a 1? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. I forgot to mention, if you have a specific dice that is wild, that has to be wild all the time. If you roll 6 on the wild die, you re-roll it again. And if you keep rolling 6s, you just keep adding to it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess this makes sense.
I'll just roll this guy like 3 times.
You can...
So I got 13.
13?
Perception.
Okay.
hang on. That would have been...
Wait, no, you just keep rolling it only if you keep getting 6s.
No, but I only have 1 dice.
Oh.
So
24.
24?
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I rolled 2 5s and 2 6s. One of the 6s was on the wild die, and then I rolled a 2.
Cool.
What about you, Orie?
7.
7? Okay. So for Sparrow and Radix, it takes you, like, you've done this before many a time, so it's like it's become second nature. Like it takes you a little bit faster to readjust your eyes. Orie, you can hear okay, but everything is still super blurry. But Radix and Sparrow, you realize that Ares isn't alone. Ares explains he needs some help to keep his ship at broadcast depth, and being the only natural-born crew member on board. Several other hover ships have been helping to keep you alive. So you notice that you don't that there are other people there from other different ships. And you notice actually that you don't have you don't have any noticeable sores or noticeable signs of immobility because they've been kind of keeping care of you, because you guys haven't been necessarily jacked in for 6 months, because that's the time is different between the Matrix and the real world. But your body has been basically immobile for at least a couple of weeks. But you notice that there's not, they've been kind of pumping you with medication and vitamins to make sure that your body's still working correctly. And so you hear basically some Orie, you don't really see anything like that. You basically just realize you're kind of it's a bit uncomfortable in your seat, and you hear people talking. You don't recognize any of the voices of who it is. So it's up to you how you want to react to that. But yeah, so essentially, Ares and with the help of the other crew members, they kind of help you get out of your chairs. And the other there's a guy. His name is he introduced himself as Aaron. He's a captain of the Thaddeus. He helps you out, and then there's some few other crew members that introduce themselves. His name is Poi. And then there's Nehemiah from the Hovership Pegasus. So
cool.
Okay.
That boy.
And so they all are relieved you made it out alive. You're definitely you're noticeably weak. You're not as strong as you can be yet. I mean, and you're extremely exhausted. Everyone is sent to their bunks to rest, except for Radix. You help Ares and the rest of the crew kind of reprogram or download the Silver Bullet program into the hovership's hard drive, and so that way we can have a backup of that program just in case. And so then after a period of time, basically it takes maybe about an hour, you're finally sent back to your bunk to rest. Now it's been at least a bit of time. You all eventually you just you're knocked out completely. You're just in a complete daze. Now I asked you guys before. I don't know if you guys have thought about it. Is there something that you want to kind of share as a story, what your characters may have dreamed about?
I mean, I guess for my character, canonically, my dreams would have involved this seemingly familiar adventure that has never actually happened.
Okay, yeah.
So I just have residual memories from a time forgotten, just a blip in I guess.
So you kind of felt
think, has my character even been in the Matrix yet? In this.
No, you have. I mean, some of your crew, you are missing Tetra. She went off onto another hover ship to help them out.
Right. Okay.
The other crew members kind of jumped back.
Because we were still in that apartment. So
yes. Yeah.
It's just.
You were sent in
from that point on.
Yeah, you were sent in because you are Radix's brother. You were sent in to help out because Radix had to jack out, and you're just kind of as a support crew member. And then you because of the work that you've done, just with a few side missions here and there, and just been able to help out keeping you guys safe. You're as a weapons specialist. You've been able to you've been permanently requested to stick with the Athens crew.
Cool. I guess I would just kind of consider my character has a weird sense of intuition from he has the internal experience from being on such a intense mission, but doesn't really have a full memory of it. It's just kind of just kind of like hardwired into his brain.
Yeah, you feel like you know some things that, or you know some skills that you didn't think you had known before.
Technically I'm a bit more green than I really am.
Right.
If that makes any kind of sense.
Sure.
Greenhorn.
Yeah.
So and one thing I will add on to your dream is that you do remember seeing what legend has been told of the Oracle and the Architect in the same room. You don't remember what they said or what they did. You just remember seeing it, and it affected you in a specific way. I'll leave that up to you.
I think the thing that affected me the most, like the one image that really sticks in my head, is just this glowing red bazooka.
Yeah.
That really like drove me to become like a weapon specialist. Like this dream of this beautiful, incredible, impossible weapon.
Yeah.
That I want to achieve somehow.
You felt very badass. It was like you dreamt that you could fly kind of moment.
It was my muse.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Cassie, do you have anything what you would your character would dream about? Whether of home or whether of back in Zion or any within the Matrix itself?
I think maybe when you asked this question, back when we were preparing for this, I might have misunderstood what exactly you were asking.
I kept it as open as possible to kind of allow sort of a broad idea. I mean, it's up to you. If you just feel like you just want to sleep and then immediately wake up after whatever without dreaming, that's totally fine too.
Well, I guess I had it in my head that my Sparrow would just have these sort of recurring dreams about falling through the sky.
Oh, okay.
And there would just be a lot of birds. Like she would just see them everywhere, just flocks.
Okay. Yeah, because you're named Sparrow, but you're like that's kind of a thing that you loved back when you were kind of just a blue pill in the Matrix. Like that was something that you loved, looking up at the sky and you saw birds and you kind of felt like what you always dreamed what it would feel like to fly. I like that. That's awesome. Julian, what about you?
Radix his subconscious is torturing him. I think he's I envision that he'd be having some like recurring nightmares of fear that this thing he's created is going to be used by like government powers and things to basically oppress the people and use it as basically like a Cold War bargaining chip against in any situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was picturing, that like he's feeling, guilt or preemptive guilt that something that he's built will basically be used to manipulate and bully society.
Okay. I like that. That's good. Okay. So after a bit of time, you all eventually wake up to the sounds of yelling from the control room. You kind of you're still a bit kind of hazy, foggy, but you all leave your rooms to the control room. You see Orie sitting at his broadcast station in a literal state of shock. Like there is he's pale because there's no sunlight, but like he's even more pale, like as if like something had just kind of punched him in the gut, figuratively. The Pegasus crew are waking up. They actually have been jacked in to the Matrix. So as you guys enter the control room, they have just jacked out, and they do not look well. Why don't you guys roll? I'm just trying to see what you guys would have. Anybody have like communications?
I
have comms. I have 1D additional in that.
Yeah, same here actually.
Why don't you roll that if you have something in that roll it.
Just all of us?
Only if you have communications.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna steal those if you. Oh, I need an additional D. I need more D. Okay.
And then Cassie, actually, why don't you roll a perception check for me as well?
I rolled a 12.
I got 7.
7? Okay.
Lucky number 11.
11.
It's
I got
halfway to
2,
55.
so- 16 on perception.
Okay. So, Cassie, you kind of see that there is definitely some shock in the Pegasus crew's faces. You can kind of pick up that there's something that they're there's something like somber about them. But Julian and Orie, the reason why I use communication is because I'm sort of hijacking that kind of skill a little bit, mostly because you're able to sort of see different forms of communication, and you kind of see like the Pegasus kind of look over at Ares and kind of give like sort of, it's very silent sort of facial cues that there's something up, and like they don't know if they want to tell you or not.
Interesting. Well, let's find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
let's just look over at Ares. What's up, Ares?
After a bit of struggle to find his words, Ares actually says very quietly, Alistair is dead. Captain Aran gets up from his chair to explain that they received word from the Matrix itself that Alistair was about to end his last day as a journalist. And when his broadcast was like cut off because he was spattering nonsense, saying, "Let my people go." Like he kept just repeating that over and over again until they just basically just cut the broadcast, and he was dragged out of the studio and sent home. And when Aran basically they quickly jacked into the Matrix to the crew to try to be able to go to Alistair's apartment with Ares, kind of show them where to go, and they found like basically a lot of a giant, like there's nothing there but a giant kind of puddle of blood.
Jeez.
And you're not sure what happened. They can't explain it. They just know that Alistair's gone.
Shit.
Jesus.
And Ares looks over to you guys and says, like, you guys have been, I would have woken you guys up, but you guys have been sleeping for 3 days. Your bodies needed rest, and I'm sorry, but I don't know what to say.
Well,
Do we know who killed him?
No. You guys, if you want to go check it out, I can jack you back in. I mean, your bodies are rested enough. I feel safe. The heat's off you guys a little bit, so I can jack you guys back in if you want.
I think it might be worth it to investigate.
yeah.
Yeah?
We need to. We can't just let that slide. We need to see what happened.
And we need to be extra careful because whatever came for him is likely looking for us.
Yep.
Okay. As you guys are talking, you hear like footsteps running towards the control room. There was a pilot from the Pegasus. His name is Io. He kind of exclaims, "More bad news!" He rushes into the room. Sentinels, they're on their way. ETA 20 minutes. And Ares looks at you guys and says, "If you, I can give you guys 15 if you can jack in and out real quick."
Alrighty.
All right.
15 minutes on the clock.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. So,
I've jacked out in less.
Why'd you have to go there?
I'm sorry. I've been constantly this
okay.
entire time. I've been replacing the word "out" with "off" in my head. It's been making an amazing adventure.
And so it starts. Okay.
Orie! What the
I can share his mic instead.
No, it's okay. It's just...
Okay. So.
If I didn't say it now, I was gonna say it like 3 episodes from
It's
now.
fine. You know what? Apparently.
Get out of your system.
I
Hey!
Oh.
I'm done. That was enough for me. I'm good. All right. Anyway.
But seriously, Alice.
Yeah, but seriously, our friend is dead. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We're running out
Fuck.
of time.
Yeah, let's go.
Why do you got to joke at a time like this? Justin is dead.
It's how we cope. It's how we
I
cope.
can't. I
there.
cope. You joke. Yeah. Okay.
Listen, I deal with grief differently.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Okay, so Aries says he got 15 minutes, and then he asked the Pegasus crew to prep the EMP. So as the other ship, the Thaddeus, they take off to leave because they don't want to be around when the Sentinels arrive. There's no sense of having two ships that could be disabled when the EMP would do. So Aries thanks the crew of the Thaddeus, and as they rush to their docking bay to board their ship. You get prepped in your stations. Ares quickly connects you to through the long metal needle that goes into the back of your head, and he does the like you actually look over just before your consciousness sort of fades out. He does like the quickest like jack-in procedure that you've ever seen him do. This is almost as if like he had kind of like Matrix-like abilities of how fast you and so you jump in the Matrix, like you actually kind of like the shock of it kind of like it just kind of jolts you a little bit. So I want you guys to actually roll a dexterity check real quick.
Are you still seriously?
No, not about that. I was just laughing at just camera panning around him in slow motion with like the as he just moves a cord into a plug.
I was just hearing the Benny Hill theme in my head. Wow, what
I was expecting it to be more epic.
14.
14? Okay.
Yeah, oh, sorry. What are we
For
rolling?
Dex?
Dex.
For Dex, yes.
Oh, okay. Just straight Dex? Nothing under, no subcategory of that?
No, just a straight Dex.
Okay.
It's not a great. It's not a good.
Sweet. So I got 12. No.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 12.
Yeah, I also got 12.
Okay, so the jolts of you Jack made the Matrix kind of it like you stumble and you fall. Who had the lowest?
They're tied for 12.
Tied for 12. Okay, so for you guys, basically you just have -1 to any of your dexterity checks for the next 15-20 minutes.
That's as long as we're gonna be in there, presumably.
Yeah.
Also, that is literally
Well,
what
Yeah,
I
but it's
am
not
good
like
at.
it's not -1D. It's just -1.
Also,
Okay.
is it 15 in-game, 15 in Matrix minutes, or 15 in world minutes?
I was gonna ask that, because lore-wise, I don't actually know. Is there any kind of time bending between real time and Matrix time?
It's a little bit. Matrix time is a little bit slower.
Okay.
So it's that's why it's 6 months in the Matrix, but in reality it's only a couple of weeks. Because it's sort of that's why the Matrix is still kind of stuck in 1999, so it goes a bit slower. I mean, to you guys, when you were in the Matrix, it did feel like you were in there for 6 months. But yeah, when you in the real world, your body hadn't really aged more than maybe a month at max.
Cool.
So
I don't know how I didn't know that, but awesome.
I think I might have made it up.
YOLO.
I would believe you.
You know what? I've studied enough of the Matrix. I'm it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like a nice little fan fiction thing. Hold on, sorry. So I have my notes here. It says you all rush to what I want to say is you all rush to Alistair's apartment, but my spell check spelled it all stars.
Oh shit! And it's we walk in and it's Kobe and Gretzky and
and Michael Jordan and
Yeah.
Bo Jackson and
And Smash Mouth is there playing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody.
Get your game on. Go.
They're playing PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah.
So as you guys you approach Alistair's apartment building, I want you all to roll a perception check.
10.
Also got 10.
I'm working on it because I got a 6 on the wild die.
Oh.
Your eagle-eye cherry.
Yeah, you have some crazy perception going on. You just immediately know.
16.
16?
Yeah.
And what'd you guys roll again?
10.
10s.
Oh, 10s. Okay. Cassie, you see about a block away what looks to be a police cruiser, just sitting there with its lights on, and you don't really see if there's anybody in the vehicle. You just see it there, just waiting.
Any reason why I would find that suspicious?
No, but I mean, kind of based on what the crew of the Pegasus told you, it's possible that they are investigating what could have happened in Alistair's apartment.
Sure. Okay. I relay this information to the team.
Let's take a closer look at that cop car. See even if it's occupied or not.
Yeah. You know what? Roll another perception check.
That's a bad roll.
Oh, that's
6.
A very bad roll.
Triple twos. Trip twos.
I got 10.
Okay, wait. So because I've forgotten, is a 1 on the wild die gonna be a negative?
No, you have to roll that die again.
Okay.
If you get a 1 again, then it's bad.
No, if you get a 6 on that
right,
one,
yeah.
then it's
right. Okay.
it's a complication.
Right.
Hey, a 6.
You guys have no clue if the car is if the cruiser's empty or not.
I'm going to
Nice.
take a chance. 'Cause I want to tap into the police comms and hear what they're saying about the
Do it.
the
Do it.
what do
Sure.
I call it?
Do it.
I'm
do
gonna,
it,
I'm just
do
going
it,
to
do it.
casually
Do it, do
approach
it.
the cop car, like,
She, as one does,
Yeah.
casually approaches a police officer's
Just like
vehicle.
sidle up to it, like, hey, what's going on?
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to see if maybe that you have something that a skill that I can give you.
I mean, I've got Hack the Matrix, but I need something to tap into. They haven't gotten Wi-Fi in the Matrix yet.
No Wi-Fi.
I'm debating on matrix orientation wouldn't really do it. Well, you have security as a technical skill.
Yeah.
So yeah, go roll a security check.
I feel like the human resistance idea of casual in the Matrix is different from a red pill casual. Just be like, all right, I'm just gonna walk up to this police officer, boom, boom, just like drop kicks like 7 people on the way there. Like,
Okay. This is a big roll.
Okay.
There's a lot of dice.
Wow, that's a lot of high numbers.
I rolled
Yeah,
a 6
holy
on
shit.
I rolled a 6 on the wild die, so I'm gonna reroll that. So that's 6. 8 plus another 6 is 14. Plus is 24.
Okay.
Plus 7 is 31.
Okay,
Plus
yeah.
4, 35.
Okay. No, you're able to tap into the police scanner, essentially. Like you're able to use your cell phone and able to kind of hack the code to like of the radio frequencies and kind of go and tap into that specific frequency. You hear a lot of chatter about there is a disturbance at the address, which you know it to be Alistair's apartment building. You hear in the from the car itself, there's only one person in the car, basically saying that they are on standby. They're waiting for backup because they're basically like just based on police procedure that there's no detective on scene yet, so they can't just go in and investigate.
Okay, I'm gonna relay that to the team.
So there are more coming is basically what's happening.
Yeah, but these aren't agents or anything. These are just regular routine police doing their job.
Right.
We have a brief window now where we can go up and investigate the apartment if we're stealthy enough before the detectives show up.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, the more police that show out, the more likely it's going to be agents. So.
yeah.
Okay. So the way I kind of picture that you guys are set up is that you are in an alleyway. You're looking around the corner of a building, and you just see across the street, a block away, the cop car, and the Alistair's apartment building is on the other side of the street. So you'd have to cross the street somehow with that. But the cop can. There's a possibility that they may see you if you try to just run across the street.
Well, we can always try climbing up the fire escape and doing one of the old them there building jumps.
You can do that totally, yeah.
I mean, I can stealth, so. Do we want to split up? Do you guys want to climb? I'll try to sneak my way through.
Yeah, we can do that. Actually, yeah. Why don't you run ahead and check and like keep a constant line open with us.
Yeah.
And then let us know what you see, and we'll climb up and do the old build and jump.
That's a great idea. I'd like to roll for that, please.
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Do we have the ability to like it would just be climbing, right? We don't have the old build and jump. I think literally only one character was able to do that.
I don't think we'd have that.
There's an ability on the sheets called old build and jump.
The
Old build and jump.
The old build and jump.
Nobody ever makes the first old build and jump.
No, because I mean, like by the end, Trinity could do that. Like Trinity would be able to do like a fast run along.
Oh, she totally did. Yeah, at the very beginning of the movie. Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to not like Neo style flying, but just like a good run and jump.
Good run and
Most
jump.
of Trinity's build and jumps were just like falling with style, aka literally falling.
We're gonna see how this bird flies.
Okay,
Not
so do
well.
I roll for my stealth first?
Yes. Yeah, I'm just pulling up.
Bird's gotta fly.
I'm gonna borrow another one of your dice.
Oh sure. Neo was actually Chief Wiggum. That bird's gonna fly. God damn.
22 on my stealth.
22 in your stealth. Okay. I'm probably not gonna. Oh fuck yeah. It's a massive fail. Yeah, they don't see, like the cop doesn't see you at all. Like it's as if it's like there's nothing there. There's nothing at all.
It's like as I passed by, I made a face at them and they didn't notice.
You probably could have. Yeah, you probably could have just walked across like in front of the car and just went yeah, and like the cop would
imagine like so. I just like I walk across and I'm just like my arms are just like flailing around and I'm just like.
I'm stealthy. I'm stealthy.
The cop like feels a breeze and he goes to look and his hat falls down. He goes to pick up his hat and his pants rip and he laughs at him. And he just like cries.
It's like, it's just been one of those days.
Yeah.
So that was my stealth.
Yeah. So you, sorry, did you just walked across the street, or did you just, or do they climb up and then jump?
I mean,
I think Cassie rogued her way.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's as if it's as if like it's as if you ghosted yourself with that good of a roll, and then you just like. Yeah, and you did like the whole flailing thing in front of the cop car, and then you just kind of and then you
So graceful.
I am ghost.
yeah, and then you just rephase yourself into like in the alley, across the street where the building, the apartment building is.
So I'm Reaper from Overwatch.
Yeah, you're pretty much. Yeah.
If you put Reaper in the Matrix, would anyone notice?
Probably not. No, think about it.
The ultimate stealth kill.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
Hey guys.
That's all you hear is just a voice. Hey guys. All right, so.
Think about it. He would fit in perfectly in the Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so I think you guys have running, or no, you guys have running. So what do you, Julian, Orie, what do you guys want to do? You gonna want to climb up the fire escape and try to jump across?
So.
I think at this point we might as well take some risks. We don't have a lot of time
I was
here.
gonna say, are we just gonna like Batman and Robin climb up the wall with ropes?
No,
It's actually just the floor.
the fire escape.
It's actually just the floor and like
Yeah.
you're just walking across the floor with the rope like this.
All of a sudden, like a window opens up and you see Sammy Davis Jr. saying,
Yeah.
"What are you guys doing?"
Godspeed, Cape Crusader.
No, we'll use the fire escape like normal people.
Yeah. They totally get that
Can
reference.
we do it like Matrix people?
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
I want to have fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need me to roll a
There-
perception to like keep an eye with you for you guys to see if there's anything
Sure. Yeah. Totally do that.
coming?
Yeah.
Make sure
So yeah, we're just gonna climb up the fire escape and then literally try to jump across to the other building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Using
So do a dexterity check just to see like for climbing.
Yeah.
Until you get to the do it twice because the building's that you're climbing is pretty tall.
Oh, sure. Hey, man, take a walk on the wild. I should designate which one's my wild eye.
You really should.
I'm gonna say.
I got an 18 on perception. Anything in the way? Anything?
No. no, but you hear way off in the distance some sirens. Like, it's going to take like a couple minutes for them to get to there, but you kind of hear it.
Okay, well, I still relay that information to the team because it would be useful for them to know that.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got a 12 and a 16 on my dex rolls for climbing.
Okay. So as you're climbing,
Yeah, you said roll twice.
Yeah, roll twice, yeah. So as you're climbing, you slip on a stair, and the cop kind of like hears something, but like kind of quickly ignores it. But then you eventually make it up to the top of the building.
Okay. I got 18 in total.
Okay. Then yeah, you're good. You were able to climb up, no problem. So now you're on top of the roof of the building, and the Alistair's apartment building is like 2 or 3 floors beneath you. So you guys essentially it's a drop of a jump. So it's not like a high jump kind of thing.
All right, let's do this. Leroy.
Quick moment of clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Are we siblings? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's like,
Yeah.
hang on, bro. I don't know if I'm
That's
ready.
that's why you were added onto the
What?
crew, because
I don't
you
know.
both were brothers and
You're like
great
the,
exit.
like the nasally dorky brother?
Yeah.
Is that who you are?
Here we go.
Swirly glasses.
You're the younger brother. Yeah.
Get out of the way, swirly. Fucking ego right there. All right.
13.
What are we rolling? I forgot.
Running.
Right. Okay. I need
22.
I need an extra
22.
die for this.
Okay.
Go for it.
Can I borrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
This
Please
one's
do.
my wild. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Do it. Oh!
Oh! I'm gonna run real good.
That's a damn good roll.
Oh shit! I
Damn
didn't even...
good roll.
Okay, so right, 10, 16, and then this guy. So
That's a,
so that
that's a
6
wild
gets
die.
added and then
you re-roll.
rolled
Yeah,
again.
re-roll that.
Okay, so that's 22 already.
Oh, you're gonna beat my roll. You just tied it.
Oh,
23.
23.
23 and 22.
23 and 22. Okay, you guys. You know what? I'll let you guys describe it. Describe how you feel like your characters would run and jump.
You do like a Naruto run.
Yeah.
Your arms
my
flailing
arms
behind you.
backwards, and then when we jump, I do like a corkscrew maneuver midair. And I've got my guns out, but I'm not firing. I just have them out.
Okay.
And I'm just I'm just going like pee 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 pee.
Like just in case.
And then I like land like perfectly with my like arms out, and I'm like,
I just jumped like a
Even
normal
say-
person.
I was gonna say you do the same thing, but just like lands less good. Like, it wasn't as. It was cooler when I did it.
I like the fact that it's like if you land, you actually will say yeah. All right, so yeah, you totally make it. I'm just gonna do a perception to see if he even sees something. Oh shit.
Why are we Seinfeld all of a sudden? What?
Why did they
Yeah.
take the blue?
No, he doesn't see you guys at all. So
That cop,
After all that,
that
he
cop,
doesn't see-
that cop is a dumb.
he
Still trying to
rolled.
like.
He rolled several ones a few times, and he's only got like 2 dice, so it's very easy to be able to like. He's a cop that basically has had too many donuts.
Yeah, that cop is quite a dumb.
He's quite a dumb.
He is a massive dumb.
Okay, so because you guys separate, so you guys kind of run to the door that's on the roof to go down the stairwell, and you, Cassie, you go into the building through the back into the same stairwell. All 3 of you roll a perception check.
Ooh. Pop goes perception.
Can I have that one? Thank you.
Oh right. Okay.
That's bad roll.
No.
6.
I'm gonna. Wow, that was a really bad roll.
Come on, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
I got a 9.
14.
14.
Bad.
Okay. You guys don't notice anything. You don't hear anything. So you in the stairwell, so you guys can make your way to Alistair's apartment. Cassie, I want you to roll a stealth check to open the door into the hallway. Base, I just want to make sure that you don't like open the door and be like, "Ta-da! We're here."
Boom, bitches! What up?
Oh shit!
Oh, this is decent actually. All right, hang on.
No wonder you keep getting like excellent perception rolls. You have like 1 million dice for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is for stealth.
She's sneaky.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Damn. 23 on my stealth.
Wow, okay.
No. There's a +2 to that.
So 25.
So 25 to my
Wow,
stealth.
you guys are beating all my DC. Okay. So as you open the door slowly, and you kind of peek through the crack of the door, you hear like police chatter, like basically the walkie-talkies just down the hall, but around the corner. And you see Alistair's apartment door has essentially like police tape across it. But you know that if you kind of you the three, you can stealth it across the hall. You can get into the apartment without the other cops noticing from around the corner.
All we have to do is not bungle walking down a hallway.
So go for it.
Oh my God. I'm just imagining, just like we're doing this straight, and then just fucking Skyper is just like fucking Kronk.
Yeah.
So listen. When you get your stealth roll just right,
What do we roll for that? Because we don't have stealth.
visual memes don't really
I do.
work.
You would roll just a basic dexterity.
Okay.
So I got it. Did they get? Am I still rolling?
Yeah.
I'm rolling again.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait for you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Perception again.
Ooh, 6 on the wild die.
Cool.
Nice. You.
6 on the wild die.
Hey.
5.
Ooh,
So
damn.
That would be 17 just on the wild die, and then 22, 25.
Holy
That's like
shit.
a Cassie stealth roll.
It is. Good shit.
And then I slip on a banana. That's 10. Yes. Yeah, 10.
Okay.
All right, and I need to
Go for it.
boop.
Die.
It's like just putting one die down at one die.
Whoops. Fuck. God. Shitballs. All right, here.
We're all agents now.
That's a soundboard clip. I heard gotcha balls.
I have the most awkward cusses. True facts.
Cheese and wieners.
You guys are watching a little bit too much Game Grumps.
It's like a combination of like completely benign and innocent, and then like a real, actual swear.
Yeah.
Do you think when Farah is like dressing a hot dog that she bought, does she go, "Mustard rains from above"?
23 to stealth.
23?
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't all
Really?
things considered, wasn't really a fantastic roll, actually.
Honestly, it wouldn't take you much to get past the cops. So like Cassie once again can do just a whole flailing and just like no one notices her at all.
I'm just
like you guys can barely see that what she's doing.
You know,
The
oh my god.
the cop from outside is like radioing to them that he ripped his pants, and then before he can like respond, his radio falls out of his hand, you know, and his pant rips. And they're all like, "Oh no, she's back up."
You know what? As
Oh, it's
Cassie
so
can kind
early
of
in the
see,
morning.
she can see around the corner, and as you look, as you see the cop kind of bend down to pick up the walkie-talkie, you see the rip in his pants, and you see his boxers, and they're all hearts.
We need
Kind of
pretzels.
like
I
that
repeat,
kind of
pretzels.
works because like the only
my
time you
God.
ever see like real cops in the Matrix, they are kind of just cartoon characters.
Just kind of mumbling.
Duh.
And then meanwhile, I'm over there. Have you guys ever seen that really, really weird video on YouTube, like going to the store?
Yes.
It's just like
I love that.
look that up. It's just like a CG like weird rubber mannequin man naked like flailing down the street. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
It's like if someone were to make like a live action Quap movie.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it would be. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
That's
Look that
awesome.
up. That's what's going. That's my mental picture of what I'm able to do.
Yes.
While these guys are just bumbling around.
Yeah.
It's like that music.
You have to entertain. You have to entertain yourself somehow when you're sneaking, because it's just
Yeah.
like you're gonna do it. So it's just like, yeah. So yeah, no, you get to Alistair's into Alistair's apartment, no problem. Julian, you're able to sneak across. You're not doing any flailing thing, but you're able to sneak across. Orie, as you are closing, or you're gently closing the door into the stairwell behind you.
With my gun.
With your
With
gun,
one of my guns.
you hit your hip against the door a bit, and it's just like you kind of like you mumble like shit, and that's it. Like you hear like the cop kind of like stop,
Shit.
and then they just ignore it. They go back to their business, and then you sneak across.
First try.
Dun, 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 dun.
Shoot, like staring daggers at you, just like shooting you this horrible glare. Like you fucking can you not like.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay,
It
so
worked.
you guys are in you're in Alistair's apartment, and it is completely trashed. Like there is holes in the walls. The floorboards are all like torn up. Like it looks like a war zone in his apartment. And I want you all to roll a perception check.
Cool.
It's just littered with DVDs of Punisher Warzone.
Probably.
So, definite signs of struggle is what you're saying.
Yes. Just offhand.
12.
12. Okay.
Ooh, okay. This one was the one I was considering wild, so.
Whoa.
So that doesn't get. Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, that
Yeah.
gets rerolled. Yeah. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2. So it's 4.
3, 9.
10. 10. Because you rolled one.
Oh,
one
right.
twice.
It's the previous one. Yeah, 10.
17 to perception for me.
17? Okay. So Orie and Julian, you see there's nothing really of value left. Like if there was anything that Alistair kept, it's either broken or gone or missing and torn apart. You do see a trail of blood leading to the door and out into the hall towards the stairwell. Mm-hmm. If you look closely, you can actually see the bloodstains on the carpet as it leading towards the stairwell. Cassie, you see that basically you can tell that you can see the same thing as Orie and Julian, but you can tell that whoever was here was looking for more than just Alistair himself.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, there's like you can't tell 100%, but like there's definitely something there. And then you also see on the bedside table a what looks like it hasn't been disturbed is sort of like a journal. And it's there's a bookmark. If you go to it, there's a bookmark that's kind of in a specific spot.
Okay, I go and pick it up.
So you actually see, you actually kind of see something that you didn't think that Alistair would do. It's actually a dream journal. You read a few of the entries because it's very weird for like an autonomous program to like literally dream. Like it's kind of like, do androids dream of sheep? Like it's kind of like that. It's like it's kind of weird for you. But and he even notices like that he started to kind of journal it because it's more of like he doesn't know what's going on. And he's dreaming about his life, the stuff that he's done since he heard Neo's message, and what he's done with you guys, and just sort of like a bit of a jumbled mess. But there's something that he keeps writing over and over again. It's a sequence of numbers and the word Gabriel above it.
What are the sequence of numbers?
It is. Let me write it down. 10, 15, 6, 8, 22, 32, 42.
Cool.
Now, if you guys remember correctly, actually, you know what? You guys don't have history, but actually, you know what? I want you all to roll a knowledge check for me.
Oh my god, you guys!
What?
If you had a 0 onto the end of that, it says 420. Oh shit!
10 for knowledge.
10. Okay.
One of the things I want to see if I can attempt to quickly cobble together in here is a quick program to see if we can kind of access the memory banks of the Matrix in a way like looking at what would be like security cam footage in a way, like rewinding, getting a snapshot of a moment in time to see if I could even get like a single image of the time when the break-in happened.
Believe it or not, there actually is a Matrix skill specifically for that reason. Let me just look it up here real quick.
I figured that would be the case.
Yeah, it's kind of like a post-cognition, I think is what they call it. Let me just try to find it. I had to download the it's funny, I actually had to download the PDF because the actual website that we got the PDF or of the actual source book for this is gone. It's down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it does not exist anymore.
Oh, geez, that's sad.
Yeah.
We should rehost it somewhere or something. Find a way to keep it alive.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I might just upload it to our website terriblewarriors.com, and at least a version of it. So I will look into that. Okay, so I'm just looking up the code. Where is it? Oh, post-cognition. Here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? I'll add that as a Matrix skill. I'll just kind of do it as a flash skill. You called up Aries, you've been in constant contact with him, and he was able to download a post-cognition skill. So it lasts for lasts for a couple of times. So. Essentially, the way they describe it is that everything in the Matrix, everything that occurs in the Matrix is recorded, kept in the Leviathan's memory. Leviathan is basically the source. With this ability, the hacker may attempt to this is badly written. May attempt to hack into that memory and read the past of a person, object, or place by touching it and concentrating. The character will experience images in his or her mind. The clarity of the experience decreases with greater success of attempt. So, why don't you roll?
I'm guessing it's a technical skill, right?
It is a technical skill, yes, for sure.
Okay.
Actually, no, I don't wonder if it's it's a technical skill, yeah, for sure. I was gonna say it might have been perception, but no, this is definitely a technical skill.
Alrighty, so I'll just roll technical. $24.
24?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you what do you want to touch?
So
to
I
get
want
access
to touch,
memory?
I guess, the door itself, just to see who came into this place. I'm trying to find out the moment before Alistair died, who was here.
Okay. So you guys, the code of the Matrix kind of, you start to see a little bit into it, and you kind of see the room sort of rephase around you. You can still see Sparrow and Skyper around you, kind of looking around, but overlaid on top of that is sort of like the Matrix code of kind of like a framework. Mm-hmm. And you see the door burst open as if someone was kicking it down, and you kind of see the what looks like, I guess, like exile programs. They're definitely not agents. They burst into the room. Alistair was in there. He had you couldn't really tell what exactly he was doing, but they fought, they struggled, and they kind of tore apart this whole apartment. And then they eventually, they just beat on him so badly that he's out. You can't tell 100% whether he was dead when they dragged him out, but there was a lot of blood. And it just and then the other there was another exile that was there that basically started tearing everything apart, looking for something.
Are any of these exile programs recognizable?
No, other than just that they are exiles. They might work for the Merovingian. I mean, that's kind of the theory that you would go with, you would automatically assume, but you're not 100% sure.
All right, I'm gonna relay that to the team. Just tell everyone what.
Okay.
What I
So no, sorry. What did everyone get as far as the perception check from before?
11.
Or sorry, a knowledge check from before.
Mine was 9.
And I had 10.
Yeah, 11 for mine.
Okay, so you know that from going back to the journal, the word Gabriel, that used to be like that was the name of the gun, the white kind of pale gun that he had, that Alistair had, the submachine gun from the very first one when you guys were sneaking into Metacortex. But when you relay, when you read it out loud to everybody, including the sequence of numbers, Aries kind of pipes in and he goes, wait, read back those numbers again. And so as you do, it's like, hold on a sec, and you hear kind of like him tapping like furiously on the keyboard, as well as like the alarms kind of from behind him because the sentinels are still on their way. And you hear like silence, and then he says, "That can't be right." And he kind of hold on a sec, and he opens up a few more programs, and he says, "That's actually that's a hovership tracking code. That's a tracking ID." What was the name again?
Gabriel.
Holy shit! Hold on. So he does a few more typing. And he goes, "Okay, all right, it's searching. Why don't you guys get back here real quick? Let's get. I think there's unless you guys want to take a look more around, but there's not much. We need to get you out of here, jacked out as quickly as possible."
Can
Alrighty.
I take the, is there any point, am I able to take the journal with me? Technically, no. Yeah.
Well, if it's a physical object that exists within the Matrix, I don't know if you can, like, make it a part of your avatar image, right?
Replicate that sort of deal?
You can put it in your jacket pocket.
Yeah.
And that because that's part of your residual image, you will always have it when you're in the Matrix, but when you're in the real world, you can't take that physically.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, I may as well just hang on to it. Anyway.
Okay.
Is there a landline in Alistair's?
No, not in the apartment. It's down the street. It's the same. It's a landline that you guys have been to before, so it's not like you need to search for it. But I will need you guys to roll a dexterity check to sneak out of the hallway, or at least out of the building. I won't have you go through the whole sequence again. Yeah, totally.
All right.
12.
Let's see. That's 9.
9.
Yeah.
Can I borrows?
Yeah, go for it.
500 dice.
Dang.
So as you guys are sneaking out, Aries kind of pipes in, and he says, "You could the code that you gave him is definitely a tracking ID." And he pulls up some schematics in the kind of the Zion. He taps into the Zion database, and he finds that a entry for the hovership Gabriel. And it's an old ship with long lost. Like this is as old as when the first humans, kind of resuscitated humans, established Zion. Like this is like an old, very old ship. And the legend of it, but you don't know you don't know what else would happen to it. You just know that the ship they sacrificed themselves to save Zion, and it's been long missing, and that's about it. As he's still trying to search for more info.
Crazy.
27 to stealth.
27 to stealth. Okay, yeah, you guys make it out of the building. Just as you guys kind of run across the street, you finally hear more sirens and cops. Basically, like the more cop cars pull up to the apartment, and they are none the wiser that you were there. So you guys make it to the hard line. You jack out, and once you jack out, Io says over the intercom, Sentinel's 2 minutes away. Ares powers down the system and responds power offline. EMP armed and ready. It's so quiet you can actually, as you guys are kind of like just sort of sitting in the chairs, you're not moving. You kind of hear above you the Sentinels like just kind of like hovering overhead, and they're just like kind of. You hear like their communications sort of, and their tentacles kind of like flailing around, and you hear them a little bit, and then they just kind of pass by, and after about a few minutes, Ares boots back up the system and continues his search. He still looks up the Gabriel. Basically, so he's able to find more info. It was crewed by Captain Hawa with first mate Adam. They were one of the very first crews, like I said, to be awakened. The machines attacked several hover ships when they realized they were jacking humans out of the Matrix into the real world. A few were destroyed, but a few got away. The legend of Gabriel was known by many of the first awoken. The high priest of Zion would speak of their sacrifices. They fought the machines dead on in order to give as much time as the other ships needed to run to safety. It was known as Operation Power Down, and that's all you knew about it. It's kind of a lot of stuff is classified. No one's heard from the Gabriel ever since. The passcode that Alistair somehow found was the tracking ID only used when a ship's distress call was activated. So Ares pulls up his tracker program and punches in the tracking code. The screen spells out searching as the cursor blinks, and then after a few minutes, the screen reads, ship found, ID Zion Hovership Gabriel, transmitting coordinates. And then that's how we're going to end this episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, shit. All right, so I'm Steve Saylor, your GM for today, and I want to thank my players, starting with...
That's
I'm pointing to you.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought we were going reverse.
Yeah.
Julian Spillane.
Orie Falconer.
Cassie, Chui.
Cool, and we'll see you guys next time, and we'll see, what is this Gabriel? Where is it? Where's Alistair?
What does it all mean?
What does it all mean? And why is it not 420?
How does it relate to my pretentious idea of philosophy?
All right, so that's it. We'll see you all next time. As always, we remain obediently yours. Bye.
Bye.
Jacking out.
The Terrible Warriors is produced under a Creative Commons Share-alike attribute license, which means you can take this and our games that we make, you can do your own. By all means, play our games. Let us know how you would tell our stories better. The Matrix will return in 2 weeks' time, because next Monday, we return to the Ghostbusters Now Hiring campaign that we teased just before our vacation. And on Thursday, the Edmonton crew is back from hiatus. Oh, it's so good to be back. As Derek the Bard brings Shane, Cameron, Wes, and Jesse into Mutant City Blues. Think Law & Order meets The X-Men meets Lethal Weapon? Yeah, it's gonna be that good. And Matrix Extraction will be back in 2 weeks' time. And for all of our updates, follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors, TerribleWarriors.com for our schedules, Patreon.com/TerribleWarriors to support us and to see some more behind-the-scenes footage, including a certain reaction shot at the very end of this campaign. I know it's a little clickbaity, but it was that good. We had to share it to you now. Campaign music by Kevin MacLeod. Campaign artwork by Steve Saylor. Audio production by Justin Eacock. And until next time, thank you for listening to the Terrible Warriors.